Hello, Willpower here. I'm back to give you a few tips and teach you how to calculate your percent of decrease per month. The first tip I have is that most people, most of the time, can tolerate decreases of 5% to 10% per month. The inner compass suggests that rate. There have been months when I could not even taper 5% because I taper to my symptoms. I can't do insomnia. I don't have anxiety, but I do have some neuropathy that I try to control by tapering slowly. I have to take care of myself. I don't have any help, so my doctor agrees that there's no reason to be miserable. But you can hold a dose for a few days to a few weeks if you get in trouble with your symptoms. The main thing is do not think you have to decrease every day by 1 milliliter. Taper to your symptoms and don't try to follow somebody else's taper plan. Just don't rush it. And you'll need a compassionate, supportive doctor to taper this way, and I'm fortunate to have one. He says, don't make yourself miserable. And he's willing to write the prescription for as long as I need it. And we don't feel it's necessary for me to get off in 6 months to a year. I can taper as long as I need to stay functional. But you'll need to calculate your dose and percent of decrease as you go along. You might want to calculate it once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a month. But the reason you need to know your dose in milligrams when you're doing a liquid taper is if you had a medical emergency and had to go to the hospital or be seen in the ER, you'd need to be able to tell them exactly what your dose is. So the no math taper method really puts you at risk. I've had several surgeries where I needed to tell them what my dose was before I went for surgery. And I was glad that I learned the math and figured it all out. But I'm here to help you figure yours out. To figure a percent of decrease, first you'll need to know your beginning dose in milligrams and your end dose in milligrams for the period of time you're calculating. And you subtract the end dose from the beginning dose and you find out what your change in milligrams is. Then you divide that change by the beginning dose. Then you'll have to convert the decimal over to a percentage. And an example that I'm using today is if you had 0.25 milligrams and at the beginning of the period of time, and you ended with 0.24 milligrams. So you subtract 0.24 milligrams from 0.25 milligrams, and you find that that's a decrease of 0.01 milligram. Divide that by the beginning dose of 0.25 milligrams, and you have a result of 0.04, which is just the decimal. Move your decimal over 2 places to the right and add a percent sign. So you have decreased by 4%. And that's a low percentage, but it's manageable. And you might do this this might be a 2-week dose. But that's all there is to the math. It's really not hard. It's elementary math. And I encourage you all to try it out. There is help available. I'm sure you have relatives, friends, somebody who could help you figure this math out. But with this tutorial, I'm hoping you'll be able to do it yourself.